came around, there were about...
In the absence of light.
I cannot believe it's been 2 weeks. And now, yeah. So, let's chill here, smoke some weed, and yeah, do the fuck I want, basically.
SCP-030 becomes inert, apparently losing consciousness, and showing no outward signs of life. Within 5 to 10 seconds of being re-exposed to light, SCP-030 becomes active once more, appearing to come out of a light slumber, no matter how long the period of inactivity has been. SCP-030 does not appear to require these periods of inactivity as a human would require sleep, and has expressed a desire to remain active as often as possible. Biopsy analysis of SCP-030 remains inconclusive. While clays native to the English counties of Kent, Surrey, and Greater London make up the majority of its structure, traces of mandrake, Mandragora officinarum, lye, mercury, and human blood have been found in each sample taken. SCP-030 has expressed that a full exploratory surgery to determine its workings would potentially end its existence. Samples removed from SCP-030 do not regenerate, and sampling is currently discontinued to preserve its integrity. Although SCP-030 can be damaged, it does not appear to feel pain, and will simply remold any portion of its anatomy that experiences deformation. Notably, SCP-030 cannot be molded directly by human hands, though any number of tools may be used to alter its surface. SCP-030 does not respirate, requires no sustenance, and produces no waste, although it does infrequently request a bath. SCP-030 refers to itself as Ariel, and regularly requests that staff do the same. Questions regarding how SCP-030 was created and by whom are routinely answered with the seemingly rote statement, "I have been asked to forget that bit of information. Terribly sorry." SCP-030 delivers this response in the same tone and cadence each time any question regarding its origins or creator are presented. Given its composition and location of origin, a link to the alchemists of Alagada is suspected. SCP-030 was discovered June 12th during a mandatory archaeological survey within London's Mortlake district, pending construction of a car park. It was buried approximately 2.7 meters or 9 feet below street level, contained in a small stone sarcophagus. To determine if this line of SCP-030's research will be permitted to continue, it is speculated SCP-030 may be working towards an alternative and possibly anomalous manifestation of the photoelectric effect, after receiving only minimal information regarding its existence. All research by SCP-030 suspended, and materials removed, pending review. Lesson complete. If you missed the previous orientation, go watch SCP-020. Item number, SCP-029. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-029 is to be incarcerated in a Class 5 containment cell. She is to be allowed access to nothing of a physical nature. Her containment cell is to be placed behind a triple airlock to avoid her escape. As a result of Incident 029-34A, SCP-029 is no longer to be fed, as she does not appear to need sustenance to survive. There are to be 3 guards on duty at all times on her cell, and 2 guards on monitor duty. Floodlights have been installed in the walls of the containment chamber, and are to be on at all times. Once a month, the chamber is to be cleaned and checked for defects. Under absolutely no circumstances are any men to encounter SCP-029 in any manner. Any males who do encounter SCP-029 are to be held under Class 3 detention for interviewing before termination. SCP-029 is requested a bed, denied. A blanket, denied. Books, denied. Clothes, denied. This is ridiculous. The girl can't even have clothes. We are not animals. Let her cover herself. Dr. Erica Bodine. Dr. Bodine, you are granted permission to deliver clothes to SCP-029. Dr. Light. As of Incident 029-53B, Anyone who has potential access to SCP-029 is required to first watch surveillance tape 029 Bodine, as a reminder of threats involved when working with SCP items.
Let's pause it and go somewhere else. Why not? Let's go. Chill here, why not? Let's chill here.
And SCP-029 in particular. Description. SCP-029 appears to be a pubescent female of Asiatic Indian descent. She appears to suffer from alopecia universalis. Over 80% of her pigmentation is a true black, while the rest of her skin has a complete lack of melanin, to the point of albinism. Her eyes are also a dark black in color. SCP-029 has severe homicidal tendencies and has displayed a remarkable ability to use any item as a weapon. However, she has a severe compulsion against shedding blood, preferring instead to strangle her victims. SCP-029 has demonstrated dexterity and physical reactions 4 times as fast as the average human. SCP-029 has also displayed extensive resistance to damage of all forms. Both of these extra-human abilities are greatly hampered in the presences of bright or direct light, natural or artificial. In addition, any males who come within the presence of SCP-029, an area defined by her current perception, find themselves pliant to her man. He investigated further. He found the path did not conform to the pure geometry of Euclid. Like Satchery before him, he had found something abhorrent to the nature of straight lines. He studied it. The equations he derived are part of the file you've received. You'll learn them by heart eventually. He built a small shack nearby which served as a makeshift laboratory. His first experiments produced a key capable of opening any lock, now contained as SCP-005. He brought in others. As his brother, I was one of the first he contacted. I was a medical student at Harvard at the time. I initially thought he was mad, but when he showed me the path, the key, I had to learn more. There were others with us, other friends and colleagues. Most of them are gone now, but we were the core. We created the foundation from around ourselves. In the beginning, it was just about discovery, about finding the things we could do. We had such high hopes. Such plans. We were going to change the world. We were going to save it from itself. We could feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, heal the sick and dying. Thomas Carter found us money. We were none of us poor, but we ran through our fortunes quickly. Thomas used his connections on Wall Street and in Washington to fund us. He showed them the least of what we could do and promised heaven against the threat of hell. Agnes Peterson, my brother's fiancée, was the administrator. We knew nothing of how to run an organization. We were a herd of cats, running to and fro, and she turned us into a foundation, putting us dreamers and madmen to the same yoke. We soon had a facility built, but we were still so secretive. As much as we wanted to shout from the rooftops what we had found, we were frightened, too, that it would be taken from us. We told ourselves it was just for the interim, until we were sure of our footing. We'd show them. Eventually, we'd show them all. We were careful at first. We made small, inoffensive, or even helpful items. The fountain of youth. bouncing ball, the Civil War statue. We grew more confident, and we started working on humans. The concrete man, he volunteered. Or the man with the abdominal planet. Just a drifter, but we made him something special, didn't we? It was all so easy. Perhaps it seems absurd to get so many things from that one little break in reality, but it all flowed, one discovery to the next. It almost seemed like something was helping us along. But then, things started going a bit wrong. While he was playing with his equations, Aaron accidentally derived the missing number. In my laboratory, I found I'd made the zombie plague. But we were too invested in our projects, so we pushed ahead. Then came the pipe nightmare and the stairwell. We knew we'd need more help. Thomas showed what we'd done to the military. Told them we'd found these things, discovered them. We made up names like Prometheus Labs and the Chaos Insurgency. They gave us funding, personnel. We built up and expanded outward. We repeated the cell in other countries.
Seems to be tied to one human subject, currently 027-02, at a time. As a host to SCP-027, Subject 027-02 is constantly surrounded by swarming vermin that are drawn to his location. The subject does not appear to be able to assert control over these creatures in any way, and is in fact prone to occasional attacks from feral specimens. These creatures have also been known to attack personnel who approach too closely. Wherever the subject goes, an initial swarm of flying insects, such as gnats and flies, will start to form a cloud around it, usually within 2 to 3 minutes. Shortly thereafter, when the subject leaves a location, some of these creatures will follow, but most will disperse. SCP-027 has been known to transfer between hosts once, upon the death of the first known host, Subject 027-01. Since SCP-027 could likely repeat this feat upon the death of Subject 027-02, all high-value personnel should be kept far away from the current host of drugs. Signs of prolonged sleep deprivation.
What's your name? And who are you, by the way? I'm your new doctor. Pretty much. You know the other doctor? Yeah. He got transferred to another site. So, I'm replacing. You know what I mean. My name is Dr. Buck. Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, the son of the Scarlet King. If you need anything, just call. I will. Okay, see ya.
Subject expires. Autopsy shows more than 70% of the subject's body data expunged. A colony of rats nesting in the subject's abdomen for at least generations. October 2000. Between 140 and 150 hours after the subject's death, Security Officer reports being awoken by breathing problems due to a large housefly having crawled up his nose, later shown to have laid eggs. Subsequent observations led to categorization of Officer Subject 027-02. The original host is reclassified as Subject 027-01, and SCP-027 is redefined. Data expunged. Appendix 2. Transcript of interview 027-201. The following interview was conducted on October 2000. Shortly after, Subject 027-02 was identified and transferred to the containment cell that had housed Subject 027-01. Dr. Jameson. Good morning, Officer. How are you feeling? Subject 027-02. Scared, confused, mostly scared though. J, understandable. S, and itchy. Feel like I need to shower all the damn time. J, but what about, inside? Do you feel anything different inside you? Like a presence? S, thinks and scratches his head. No, I don't think I do. I haven't really noticed anything like that. Jay, you haven't felt anything different since the original host died, besides the itching. S, no, I can't say I have. J, what about any sort of voices or compulsions? S, agitated. No, I haven't felt anything except bugs crawling all over me. Feel dirty and scared and... Doc, what about my family? You gotta get this thing out of me so I can see them again. J, of course. Going to do everything we can to get 027 out of you. God, I'm sorry, Craig. Note, shortly after this interview took place, Dr. Jameson and several other members of the research team for SCP-027 were transferred to the SCP-1772 project. Lesson complete. If you missed the previous orientation, go watch SCP-026, After School Retention, right now. Or for the complete course, watch this playlist. Item number, SCP-026. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-026 is to remain securely locked and boarded up at all times, when there is no research ongoing. Alarms are sent to alert the Foundation in case of entry by civilians or other agencies. Description. SCP-026 is a 3-story public school building. It has 2 wings connected to a central foyer. It was declared condemned after it was found the floor plan didn't match up to the building's blueprints. It came to the Foundation's attention after several disappearances in the area were linked to visits to the abandoned building. The following text has been struck through. The building demonstrates spatial anomalies. Its internal space is much greater than the external surface of the building would allow. Hallways display variable length, while stairways have differing numbers of steps going up or down. The number of rooms off the hallways changes each time they are counted. Attempts to reach the far ends of the hallways have met with failure thus far. Entrance through the fire escapes located at the ends of the hallways leads to doors approximately midway down the length of the halls. End of strike-through. There is considerable graffiti on the interior walls of the school. Most appears typical, including gang signs, names, and street art. However, the graffiti fades and reappears, changing location. Writing on chalkboards and bulletin boards changes in a similar fashion. Subjects typically found range from standard school subjects, mathematics, literature, biology, to more esoteric subjects, such as quantum entanglement and eugenics. One researcher reported one board detailing information about SCP, but photographic evidence showed only a blank slate. The phrase, "the children used to sing," has appeared multiple times in various places throughout the building, but there is currently no explanation for its significance. A number of unconscious subjects have been found in the building, mostly of high school age, ranging from 12 to 18. They are dressed in accordance to the school's dress code. Several have been identified as former students or faculty of the school who disappeared after the school shut down. In at least one case, more than 10 years after the closure. It is currently unknown how they were transported back into SCP-026. All attempts to wake the subjects while inside the building have failed. On being removed from the grounds of SCP-026, the subjects wake abruptly. They experience a period of confusion before dying from extremely rapid dehydration, followed by advanced decomposition. No useful intelligence has been recovered from the subjects to date. The inability to wake subjects extends to those who fall asleep on the grounds of SCP-026, though the rapid dehydration only seems to affect those who have been found on the grounds of the school. See Incident Report 026-12. Note 026-A. Robotic explorations and video feeds have shown that the apparent spatial anomalies are caused by changes in the perceptions of observers, rather than actual spatial phenomena.
For this reason, SCP-026 does not require the expertise of Mobile Task Force Row 8, roadside picnickers, at this time. Update. Further exploration has shown that some spatial phenomena do occur. See the exploration logs for more details. Note 026-B. The contents of notepads, books, and pieces of paper have been observed to disappear, only to reappear on surface bit off. The bell's ringing, but I don't hear anyone in the hallway. No students hurrying in or out of the classroom. No chatter, no footsteps, nothing but the bell. And it doesn't stop. The crazy thing is that I never notice it's a dream until then. I've been retired for 10 years, but until I notice the bell, I think everything's normal. Crazy, isn't it? Agent, I think it's very interesting. Thank you very much. If you think of anything else, don't hesitate to give me a call. Principal, anytime. Interview log 026-08. Doctor, please have a seat. Agent Walker, thank you. Doctor, let's get down to business. I understand you're requesting a transfer out of fieldwork. Would you like to talk about that? Agent Walker, I'd rather not. Doctor, it's your choice. However, I can't approve a transfer without reason. Agent Walker, look, you've seen my record. You know I worked on 26, right? Doctor, I've read the report. Agent Walker, I was there the first time we took one of the sleepers out. A lot of them were adults when they disappeared, but they're kids again when we find them. So, I see this 16-year-old boy just kind of shrivel away. I had nightmares that night. Doctor, you're supposed to report any unusual dreams after contacting a potentially mind-altering phenomenon. Agent Walker, it hadn't been declared a mind screw yet. We just thought it was a weird space thing. We were just watching it until the picnickers got there. And it was a shock, you know? We weren't expecting anything like that. Anyway, I got over it quick enough. I'd seen worse. I once had a guy melt while I was holding on to him. Doctor, I see. What happened next? Agent Walker, nothing for a while. I went in a couple of times, but didn't see anything too weird. But, look, I know I should have reported it. But one of my buddies had just been disappeared after getting touched by some weird SCP, and I don't want it to happen to me. Doctor, you've been affected by an SCP. Agent Walker, yeah. It was a week later. I was dozing in the back of the van, and I started dreaming. Doctor, can you describe this dream? Agent Walker, just like the others. You've read the reports, right? Doctor, pretend that I haven't. For the record, Agent Walker. Agent Walker, alright. I'm in a classroom. It's just like one of the ones in 026, but new. Not falling apart. I knew the teacher's name. I knew who was sitting by me, even though I'd never seen most of them before. The bell started ringing, but no one moved. I raised my hand, but the teacher didn't notice. Finally, I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. Then I noticed something strange with my hand. It had color. Everything else was black and white. But I felt like I was the one who was wrong, out of place. And that's when I woke up. The van was leaving. No one else noticed I'd been asleep. Doctor, and you didn't think to report this. Agent Walker, like I said, I was scared. And this was before they found Malik. I figured it was just another nightmare. Nothing weird. And after Malik had his dream, well, they didn't do anything with him. So I figured it wasn't a big deal. Doctor, he was put on observation. You should have been as well. For your own safety and for the safety of others. Agent Walker, you paper pushers think it's all so easy, don't you? Sitting behind a desk all day, you don't know what it's like. Well, things aren't so clear out there. Not when you're the one hunting talking cats in a sewer, or waiting to see if you're the one who's not going to come back this time. Agent Walker was visibly distressed. It was several minutes before he calmed down enough to continue the interview.
Book your flights with Webjet, Australian-owned for over 20 years.
This is definitely more engaging.
Experience a better way to study online at Swinburne Online.
Agent Walker. Anyway, it wasn't until later that we connected the dreams with the sleeper. Looks like someone took a sledgehammer to the place. No, wait, I stand corrected. Baseball bat. It's leaning against the corner. There's about half a case of beer here, full cans. Looks like they left in a hurry.
Hey, get the robot to face the board. There's something I want you to see. Looks like Latin to me. Could be significant. Get someone to translate it. It might be a clue to what's gone down here. The Latin was found to be a series of sentences showing different conjugations of the verb vendere, to sell. All were found in Latin primer, a textbook formerly used by the school. The baseball bat was aluminum. An analysis of the fingerprints was inconclusive. Okay, next classroom. Desks look fairly modern. 80s, I'd guess. Chalkboard's got a quote from Nicholas Nickleby on it. Yes, I'm sure.
Let me push this and go out here and go up top where his office is and ask him if he can get me just a burger, pretty much. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I would like you to order me a burger, pretty much, please. Sure. It should be on its way soon. Okay, cool. Sure. Sure.
It says right there on the board. The sun does not shine upon this fair earth to meet frowning eyes. Depend upon it.
Let's have a joint,
Nicholas Nickleby,
I guess.
by Charles Dickens. There's an apple on the desk. Looks fresh. I'm tossing it into the drone. Okay, I'm looking out the window. Hey, are you guys at work? There's no way to get there, I'm telling you. The video feed showed the next door was 30 feet away. The total elapsed time from one door to the next was 5 minutes, in which time Agent meandered toward the end of the hallway. No anomalous activity was observed while he was standing still. When he neared the end of the hallway, Agent turned around and quickly returned to the beginning of the hallway. Okay, I hear you. I've got my eyes closed. I'm walking forward. Left, got it. Going straight. Correcting left again. Correcting right now. Okay, this is going a lot faster. Okay, correcting right. Yes, right, I heard you. God damn it, I am going right. Okay, left. No, it is not the same direction. Look, if you think it's that easy, just send the robot in. The robot was able to reach the end of the hallway with no problems. Agent attempted to follow, but was unable to keep a straight line.
Huh?
Here I come, fun happen.
Back with the robot. I knew it wasn't going to work. Correcting left again. Correcting right now. Okay, this is going a lot faster. Okay, correcting right. Yes, right, I heard you. God damn it, I am going right. Okay, left. No, it is not the same direction. Look, if you think it's that easy, just send the robot in. The robot was able to reach the end of the hallway with no problems. Agent attempted to follow, but was unable to keep a straight line to the end of the hallway. Just go ahead and send the bot in. I'm not going to try again until we have a better idea of what's in there. Something's keeping me out of there. We should figure out what it is before anything else. Look, if you want to know that badly, go yourself, or request some Class Ds. I'm not going in. Deal with it. At this point, the robot opened the door
He's
and
a
crossed
bogus,
the threshold into another hallway, running perpendicular to the first,
Sure.
30 meters in length.
Sure.
No doors were visible. A single window was observed, but was situated too high for the view outside to be visible. The walls were free of graffiti. The left was a dead end,
I guess let's
while the
eat
right
it.
terminated at a point where the
Yum.
tuxedo seam was ripped. Test halted. Subject later
That's
terminated.
fucking good.
Subject D690, a 26-year-old white male. Article 2004 Boston Red Sox baseball cap. Imperfections. Missing size adjuster in back of cap. Logo in front partially removed. Test results. Placed in a sealed room with the subject was a table on which were a loaded Jericho Baby Eagle 9mm handgun, a grill lighter, and a hatchet. D690 chose to wear the cap backward for the test. Potential effects of this decision on the outcome of the test are unknown.
Subject expressed reluctance to touch any of the objects on the table for several hours. Food and water were provided as necessary. After 4 hours of general inactivity, subject picked up the handgun and examined it. While holding it at roughly eye level, the weapon discharged into D690's forehead, where the size adjustment band would have been. The round exited the subject near the part of the hat with the missing part of the logo. Subjects: D736, a 22-year-old white male. D771, a 23-year-old white male. Article: burgundy striped sweater vest, dating from 1973. Imperfections. Article seemed to have been partially eaten by moths. Several large holes in the front of the sweater. Test results. D736 was asked by researching staff to wear the sweater vest, which he did under duress. D771 was given a loaded handgun out of sight of the other test participant and instructed to, on a given signal, fire all 6 shots in the direction of D736. After doing so, it was noted that every shot fired passed through one of the holes in the sweater vest, leaving the clothing intact and killing D736. Firearm retrieved. Surviving subject transported back to quarters. Subject: D771, a 23-year-old white male. Article: sweater vest from above trial. Imperfections. Same as mentioned. Test results. D771 was this time placed in an empty room. Dimensions 15 meters by 15 meters by 15 meters. Only objects in the enclosure were lights overhead. Subject initially complained of boredom, then lay on his back and went to sleep. After 2 hours and 14 minutes, 2 of the fluorescent light bulbs in the ceiling suddenly dislodged and fell. Both landed squarely on holes in the sweater, shattering upon impact. One of the tubes broke into jagged pieces that impaled D771 in several areas, but only again through gaps already present in the sweater vest. Subject's vitals persisted for another 6 minutes, then ceased. Further testing locations will be selected to minimize possible damage to the surrounding area. Subject: Dr. Unplanned experiment. An unidentified individual left an article from SCP-025 on Dr. desk that looked similar to an item of his own clothing. Any information about this incident and or the perpetrator of same should be reported immediately to senior staff. Article: lightweight scarf, dyed a number of colors. Imperfections. Heavily pulled seam caused scarf to be considerably shorter and tighter in the middle. Test results. According to his itinerary, Dr. wearing the item from SCP-025 was en route to the enclosure of SCP for routine testing. However, he diverged from his intended path and began in a direction towards an entirely separate wing of the facility. Subject then entered the enclosure of SCP-173 without gathering accompaniment or following safety protocols, and, upon hearing the door closing, blinked. Cause of death listed as strangulation, resulting from a crushed windpipe. Subject: D802, a 30-year-old Hispanic female. Article: 1980s Flashdance style white shirt. Imperfections: right shoulder removed, left sleeve completely cut off, entire bottom hem shredded. Test results: data expunged. All present were presumed infected, then quarantined and data expunged. All further tests involving 1980s era fashion have been postponed indefinitely due to the expenditures and safety hazards presented by the aforementioned experiment. Full cleanup estimated to take an additional weeks. Further testing authorized. Results now awaiting declassification. Lesson complete. If you missed the previous orientation, go watch SCP-024, Game Show of Death, right now. Or for the complete course.
What else should I watch? What about this one? video so much.
In our lifetime, 1 in 3. Viewer discretion is advised. The mannequin became erratic, dragging its plastic legs, shambling over to him. Repulsion rose in him, but as it got near him, he stood up, leaning over it, trying to see if he could intimidate it. It stopped and froze. Hello everybody, I'm the Rubber. Today we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object SCP. P-847. SCP-847 is a broken human female mannequin, constructed of human hair and an unknown composite fibrous polymer that abrades and shatters similarly to porcelain. Exploratory laparoscopy of 847 shows the presence of internal structures that closely resemble an incomplete set of bones, organs, and major blood vessels, each of which are composed of the same polymer. Small trace amounts of a black, volatile resin similar to plastination compounds leak from the eyes and damaged regions of the mannequin. 847 favors clothing designed for young women, leaving ample skin exposed. The mannequin moves with erratic, stiff motions while shuddering to maintain balance. It has 3 different behavioral patterns, known as Pattern Z, Pattern Y, and Pattern X. Pattern Z occurs when there is no human within 50 meters. 847 remains inanimate and silent 99.5% of the time under these conditions. It will stand in front of any available full-length mirror and make a pose that showcases its outfit. On rare occasions, 847 will scratch short messages on nearby surfaces with a finger. Examples of messages written include, "Don't leave me. You can own me. I can change. And you're my master." Pattern Y is adopted when there are only males around. Initial stage behaviors involve emitting vocalizations resembling high-pitched whimpering and gasps, in addition to more provocative poses. After 3 to 5 minutes of the initial stage, 847's behavior enters a secondary stage, during which it becomes fully animate, approaching any male subject, attempting to look into the subject's eyes. Vocalizations during this period become more frequent and longer in duration. Subjects can handle and freely alter or pose 847 during this time. 847 will then shatter select portions of its body and or extract internal structures when the subject leaves. Once the shattering or extraction is complete, it emits sobbing vocalizations and reverts back to Pattern Z. Pattern X occurs when any female subject approaches within 50 meters, whether male subjects are present or not. It will emit vocalizations resembling distressed grunts and screeches before becoming immediately animate and physically attacking any woman nearby. During Pattern X, 847's strength and speed are greatly increased, with sprints of up to 45 kilometers per hour and exertion of 40 kilonewtons of force having been measured. During an attack, 847 will occasionally shatter an appendage, usually a finger or toe, in order to produce a sharp edge. Furthermore, plastination resin is released from its eyes, mouth, and shattered sections of its body. Resin falling in open wounds results in a quick hardening of soft tissues that spread until the victim's body reaches a composition of a similar polymer as 847. Following plastination, it will harvest selected body parts from the victim corresponding to damaged sections of its own body. It will fuse these parts to its body via the resin. not all damaged sections will be repaired in this way. Upon completion of harvesting, it will return to pattern Y if there is a male subject around, or it will return to pattern C when it is alone. The resin produced by 847 has been shown to have its anomalous plastination effects occur only when applied to soft tissues of women. The resin has no effect on cadaverous, non-human, or male tissue. Application of high-voltage electricity in excess of 10 kilovolts will cause a temporary solidification of the resin, resulting in 847 becoming inanimate in approximately 5 minutes, regardless of the behavior pattern expressed at the time. SCP-847 was first discovered during a federal human trafficking investigation. It was found in the basement of an abandoned department store in Las Vegas on 8/23/1983, surrounded by partially disassembled and broken non-anomalous female mannequins wrapped in plastic sheets.